Up next, we are moving to the topics of why is the legacy SIEMs not enough to handle cyber attack in 2024. But before that, gentle reminder to all the attendees once again, if you have any questions that you'd like to drop your question, feel free to scan the QR code, which is appear on the screen by now, and select the room, main stage, and drop your question. Your question will be answered at the end of the session. And the next session will be a great opportunity to you all to listen from our speaker, co-founder, director, Bangkok MSP Company Limited. Please join with me in welcoming Kris Nawan on stage.
So today, I want to take you through a journey, right? So I'm not going to talk about the product. Let's talk about the journey. And basically, I'm trying to tell you the difference, why we are today and what we're going to do tomorrow for you guys. So here's the first thing. Everybody knows what a knock is, right? So the first step in doing anything enterprise starts with the knock, right? We're barely crawling in the IT security field. So services that you have to do are like server monitoring, right? Website monitoring, application monitoring. And these are the basic stuff that you need to do just so that all the operations work. We're not talking about people attacking you or doing anything to disrupt your business. Then we want to start walking, right? So we add a SIEM into your system. So basically what the SIEM does, it collects the data, takes it in, put correlations on top of it, and with that correlations that they do, they allow you to do a lot of predictive things, right? But then again, it's pretty much manual. You're doing a lot of manual job. And as you can see, that once you start to get attacked, people start to add signature bases on it, meaning things that we know. Oh, these are bad things. So whenever it comes in, we see these bad things, we identify it as bad, and that's about it. What if we don't know what is coming in? So now you start seeing about zero-day attacks and stuff. So now in the new journey is to start to be able to scale. Because businesses today don't stay still, they scale. You want more information, more data, more usage. That makes it so that we need to scale. And what helps you scale? Cloud. So we want to tell you that today, whatever you're designing, if it's not enough, move it to the cloud. More flexible, better. So here's the limitation that we already have and the customers have today with cloud, with the legacy stuff. Limited deployment, meaning whatever you have done today, that's it. You cannot grow beyond this. You want to grow, you have to start again. You have to start a new system, you have to migrate, you have to do a lot of things to increase your business. It doesn't show or treat you properly, right? And then what do you have? Limited storage. What if our business grows tremendously? What do we do? It doesn't, then you have to re-implement everything all over again. So that doesn't answer the question. The next thing, limited log management. It can only do what it can do based on what the technology you have bought, right? Basic threat analytics. So it's not doing anything that you can do today. And everything else is manual. No support for cloud, no support for SaaS applications. So it doesn't help you grow. That's the main thing. It doesn't help you grow with your business. Then you need people to do time-consuming jobs, right? Certified people. That means that you're investing a lot of money into people that have to do maintenance of the system. Not actually analyzing stuff, just doing maintenance of the system. And this is the main problem with all legacy staff. Heavy, complex, manual. 3 things, right? And now what the next gen SIEM provides, scalability. I can start very small and scale very big, right? You can start with 50 users in your company, and then you become a unicorn, which has 10,000 employees. How are you going to scale at that point, right? So, but if you start in the cloud, you can scale. That's the key. Second thing, unified. Today, you can have information where you have information everywhere and you can't get everything to correlate and work. So you want everything, your defense, under one roof. And that's another key. Finally, you got to leverage AI, ML, right? If you're manually creating rules, how many rules can you make so that the organization wants to work? So you got to have these tools help you. You can either hire 15, 20 security analysts in your company to do it, or you can have AI and ML help you, and you can lower the staff by a third, right? The third journey. Now that we've talked about the SIEM, let's talk about the third journey, automation. So here's what happens. Now we start to talk about CVEs, right? Common vulnerabilities. The problem is that they're only known when they become common. And you can see that Log4j, amazing software, but it's pretty much in everything. How do I know that my software is using it? How do I know that my hardware is using Log4j, right? And when the vulnerability comes about, only time you'll know is when the vendor tells you. So the threat intelligence will help you with that, right? And then here's what you see. You see that the exchange, there's published 4 CVEs over 7 months. That means that you have been attacked over 7 months before it actually becomes known, right? So what happens if you don't have data, or you have data of 30 days ago? So you can only go back just 30 days to find out what your problem is. Your problem might have started 6 months ago, which is the average time that generally you find out what the problem is. Or it could be 1 year or 2 years ago. You never know, right? So the whole point is you got to make sure that you cover the 7 months minimum, right? 120 days. Most products in the market, because they're limited by the storage, are providing 90 days, 180 days, right? You got to start with 365 days. Go above and beyond. So we at Securix provide 365 days minimum hot log storage. That means that you can search anything that's within the system for 365 days with no additional cost to you. That's the bare minimum we start with, okay? Now, on top of that, we provide with you EBA. Why? The systems are not the only ones creating the problems, and the attackers are not the only ones creating problems for your organizations. It's the users. How do you know that the users are your users? How do you know that the users are not attackers pretending to be users because you had a data leak of your credentials, right? So this UEBA comes in and helps learn what the user actually does on a daily basis, which department he works with, how does he normally do his job. And then, if he does something different, it alerts us. It tells you that, hey, this is kind of different. You want to take a look. The simple explanation I like to give people is like, the person comes in, works Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, never works on Saturdays, Sundays. All of a sudden, it pops up. He's logging in on a Sunday. The administrator has to do one of two things. One, block him, done. Then he calls and says, hey, what's going on? I'm working, done. Second thing, he can just give a call and said, hey, are you working on Sunday? The guy says, nope, I'm actually watching a movie right now. You know that's attacker right away. Quickly identify the problem at the point. Because the UEBA or the UEBA analytics tells you what this person is actually doing, and this is out of his standard frame of work. Now, because you are adding user information, network information, so you're putting a lot of data, right? So you're putting a lot of data for you to do analytics on. So what Securix provide as a default is a data lake. So we provide Snowflake data lake as part of the default so that you can take all the information in, analyze it, make it fast, and give you actionable response right away. And this is the one of the key, because the time to respond is also one of the major keys. Now, everybody's concerned about privacy. When you used to take network information, privacy was not really that big of a deal. But now that you're using user information, they might be going to a private website. They might be going to a banking website for their own personal use on the corporate laptop. How do you prevent the company from violating GDPR, PDPA laws, right? Which are local privacy laws provided to protect the users. What we do is that any actionable information that is deemed private will be data masked right away by default. And if there is a reason for us to find out that particular specific information and you're tasked to do this particular job, can go through a workflow process to approve and get that information. That means that we have a control that allows you to look at the data for the people who have the rights to look at the data, but for everybody else, it's masked for you. So you can be 100% sure that all the data that you have is private. So that's the assurance you can give to your company, to your employees, and to regulators as well. Collaboration, most important thing. We live in a world that we connect with everyone at all the times. And one of the best things that people do is connect. So why don't we also connect our security? So we have a proposal that we use, which is peer and partnership collaboration, meaning that if I find a threat in Brazil, unrelated to me, the system is smart enough to create a rule to prevent that, not relying on existing CVEs, and do a block. Once the block happens, it can be shared throughout the network, throughout all the customers within the organization. That's one. We can even go one step further. Share it with your national security agency. Share it with your peers within your organization. That's another step that we can do to ensure that part, right? And that leads to fast response. Now, when you have a lot of information, a lot of threat feeds, a lot of things coming in, how do I get it to work? So you'll see an IP comes in, an attacker comes in. You want to make sure that this is a real attack. So you would go to all these websites, all these feeds from all the vendors that are selling. Multiple of them are selling them today to you. And then you have to do a manual check. Are these legit attacks or not, right? Then if you have multiple sources, that might take you 5 to 10 minutes to find out. And what if you have 1,000 attacks, 10,000 attacks? How are you going to deal with that, right? How many people are you going to put on to get that done? What if the information comes unformatted? That means that what if you're subscribing to Twitter that's providing you with your feeds? You're providing other sources with feeds. Feeds are coming from agencies that you're subscribing to, but they come in PDF format. How do I do with that? So all of these things are done manually. What if it comes in an email, right? And this is the amount of man hours you need just to make it work, once you want to jump in to the threat intelligence field. But we have what you call as a tip platform. So the next step on the journey is a tip intelligence automation. So we put all the feeds. That means that I can add up to 50, 60, 100 feeds into a platform and have that attack event come in one time, goes through everything, checks with all the feeds, comes out with a confidence score. Hey, 100 sources, all 100 sources saying this is an attack. Boom, done. 1 minute. You get all the actionable information for you to do your work. Something comes in, unknown. It comes in, half the feeds say yes, half the feeds say no. Now it's a judgment call, right? It gives you a judgment call. Why the half the feeds are saying yes, right? And sometimes you're saying that, nope, 89 out of 90 are saying it's nothing. Then you know that, hey, these are not actionable things. These are false positive. So these things help. The main thing is that it allows you to do a lot of feeds, more checks in minutes. And that allows your security to become stronger. And that's very important. Okay. So as you can see, security scores, we can add, and we can take all the information to do more actionable stuff, right? What happens? Hours becomes minutes. So that analyst can do something else that's more useful to the company. Incident management, another tool that you need when you're going to level 4. So you want something that manages your incident. You can use Jira, you can use ITSM products that you have, or you can have something that collaborates between all the products and make sure that everything is under one plane. That means that you don't have to go and pick information from one place, from another place to make that decision. It's all there. You make that case management, so now everything comes under one place. A lot of people do what manually? They just use Excel. Some of them use Word files, and that's how they do their case management, right? So we need to do this, and cherry on the top, pick the one with the AI. Why? Because it helps make the mistakes and lower the gaps of that human being. Threat modeling. This is another key thing. Why is threat modeling important? the heart of threat modeling is not just to provide you with information of what threat levels are. The whole idea of this threat modeling is to actually provide you with what is important. These are high, these are medium, these are low risk. So a lot of organizations just do whatever comes first. So you could be under a massive attack, but your IT doesn't know, and they're just dealing with the basic stuff because that's what they're seeing, or that's what they're knowing, or that's what's coming in the queue. So this allows you to say, hey, I have a high case. I need to deal with this first. These can wait. Now that I've dealt with all the major case, I'm just fixing the remaining case. So that's what the threat modeling helps. So it allows us to see, because most of the time, IT people are wasting time doing things that are not needed. That's the core. So how do you take precious resource that you have very little of and make the most use out of it? Is to be able to identify the level of risk that's created. Gap analysis. A lot of people will hear about surface attack, right? Now that we not only have to protect our own organization, we start to work with other people. So how do we know that we don't have our surface under attack, under vulnerabilities, enabling us to connect to another company because of our own system? So so we have to reduce our attack surface to make sure that vulnerabilities don't affect us when we have to API connect to somebody else. API is the future of everything. You want better service? It's done to API. You want better collaboration? It's done to API. All organizations will use 80 to 90% of all connections between corporate to corporate through API. And to reduce the gap surface attack is the most important thing. You start hearing this. And a lot of companies who are doing this are buying softwares that are doing surface attack to monitor the partners. Not monitor themselves alone, but monitor the partners to make sure that their system is good enough for us. If they're not good enough, we tell them that, hey, you have to fix this problem. If you're not fixing this problem, we can no longer provide you access to our API, right? So there'll be API security solutions that come and see if it's still working. There'll be surface attack to do the initial monitoring and do the initial assessment if you are worthy of being part of our ecosystem, right? And if you don't do that, your business don't run in the new age world. So this is another thing that needs to happen for your organization. So these are the tools that are required. Integrated SOAR. So a lot of people will start to hear about SOAR, right? There's a lot of SOAR vendors here. We are one of them. We provide them as a service. So you can either do the SOAR, does the case management, all the infrastructures, bring all the information in from various parts, collaborate them, create the rules and create everything, and then automate everything. Or we can do even better. Take them to a cyber fusion center where everything gets collaborated. And that's what we can take you through the journey. The final piece is the cyber fusion center. So this whole cyber fusion center started from 9/11. Why? The problem with 9/11 was that everybody knew that there's going to be an attack. The CIA knew, FBI knew, Homeland Security knew, but they never talked to each other. Why? Because they're not collaborating. And that's the worst thing that an organization can do, is to have silos within the organization doing the same things or things that overlap. So we will we'll help you build a centralized center where the SOC team, incident response team, threat hunting team, vulnerability team, NOC team, SOC team, everything works under one roof. Why? Because nowadays, all the information are shared between the organizations. So why are you keeping your organization as a silo in an old working space? That's what we think. Finally, Securenix, right? So I told you I'm not going to talk about the product, but obviously I have to do a little bit about the product. 365 days, that's the first thing you have to take away from today. 365 days log allows you to cover pretty much every case that you would find from today until 1 year behind. Second, we have sharing data. So we do share data in our organizations, so customers get actionable zero-day attack response. AI, helping you with gap analysis. AI, helping you with cases. AI, helping you with user behavior. And all of this comes under one roof. And that's what you can go away from today. Finally, if I don't have the team, I don't have the people to run the SOC, we provide 24/7 service. We at BMSP are a managed service provider. We provide SOC service to all customers at all sizes. And our motto is we're the security that grows with you. So you can start, and we have customers who have started very small, 5, 10 users, and grown to be 1,000 users, 2,000 users, 5,000 user company. And we help them through that security journey, making it secure. Best available security that we can provide based on your requirement, continuous monitoring, and fine-tuning. This is one of the key, because today you can no longer sit and wait for people or your systems to get updated. You have to constantly make the changes. Attackers are changing all the time. You need to change with the time. You don't have the team, leverage us. Flexibility, we have massive flexibility. We can scale you from maybe like like 1 terabyte up to like 100,000 terabytes. That's based on your need. Very flexible. We have monthly pricing models. We have yearly pricing models. We can fit your pricing models whichever way you want. And the most key thing, we're very affordable. Come talk to us if you're at the booth. If you need something, come talk to me. We're here to service you. Thank you.